Even though the list of supporters of marriage equality for same-sex couples continues to grow with names such as President Barack Obama, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, 131 prominent Republican leaders, and mayors in 331 cities across the United States, marriage equality activists continue to apply for marriage licenses in county clerks' offices in California in defiance of Proposition 8.
Today, we're back here at City Hall on the 4-year anniversary of our engagement to ask again for a marriage license. We know we won't be able to get legally married today. We knew when we became engaged 4 years ago that we might not be able to get married soon. We might not have known just how bumpy and long the road to equality was going to be, but we plan to keep on living as though we're a legally married couple and asking for that same recognition until it's simply the way things are.
Today is very important because we come to personally stand in the discrimination. Discrimination is one thing when it's on paper, when Proposition 8 exists, written as a text. But it's another thing to have the courage to say, I am going to present myself as a human being to the clerk's office and say, I really deserve full equality. And to stand in this exclusion, to stand in the discrimination and feel it. So it's the bravery of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender people and couples every year that is what makes this event such an important event.
The reality is that we as LGBT people, we are fighting for a very simple principle, that we want to have equality under the law. And that is something that I don't believe is a radical concept, but in some circles it may be. But I do believe that we are on the right side of history and that we as an LGBT community will not only get the right to marry the person we love, but that in every single facet of what happens in this society, that we as an LGBT people will be treated equally.
To me, it feels like this one is the last one. I have every confidence that the Supreme Court is going to do the right thing. They're going to hear oral arguments March 26th and 27th. They're going to rule in late June. I think we're done. I think they're going to find that this is our loving moment, that the tide is turned, public sentiment is on our side. We want to treat gay couples equally. I think this will be the last time that I have to protest at San Francisco City Hall.
This year's event is particularly important because in just a few short weeks, the United States Supreme Court will be hearing landmark lawsuits related to the freedom to marry. The freedom to marry in California with respect to Proposition 8, and also the right of legally married same-sex couples in their home states across this country to have full federal rights and responsibilities, to have access to over 1,000 rights and responsibilities that we are now denied. So this year is a particularly important year, and we truly hope this year is the last year, and that a year from now, Proposition 8 will be in the dustbin of history, and that lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender couples will have full equality nationwide.
I also am hoping that already, and certainly by the date in March the 26th when we argue the case, Ted Olson will be arguing for the plaintiffs, that we will have at least 5 Supreme Court justices who recognize that gay people are not so different and that our families are not different in any way that really matters, and will therefore vote to strike down Proposition 8.
We're seeing tremendous change from the President of the United States across this country to typical ordinary Americans, and it was incredibly encouraging to see victories in Washington State and Maine and Maryland and Minnesota, 4 very different states in very different parts of this country. And so the momentum in favor of equality seems unstoppable at this point. I think it really is a credit to what lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender people and the couples especially have been doing over these now many, many years. And that is simply telling the truth of our lives and standing up for who we are and not being afraid to be ourselves. That is what the LGBT civil rights movement has been built on now for 50 years. It's the bravery for people to stand up, be themselves, and do that for yourself, for what it does for your life. But by doing so, you are helping everybody. You are being part of a great human rights movement.
I am Sergeant Caramucci, Deputy Sheriff for the City and County of San Francisco. I hereby declare this an unlawful assembly. In the name of the people of California, I order all those assembled here at room 168 in City Hall to disperse immediately. If you do not disperse, you will be subject to arrest.
I think what it does is, as strange as it sounds, it puts us on the 5 o'clock news. And then households in the Bay Area and in the country say, those people care. They're willing to go there and get arrested and put not their lives on the line, but their hearts on the line, certainly, for what they believe in. It was the same thing in the civil rights movements of the 1960s with African American college students sitting at Woolworth's lunch counters. They didn't want to eat there. They just wanted to make a point that they needed to be treated equally. And that's what we're doing here. We're making a point that it's not over. We have some distance to go, but we'll get there.
In San Francisco, this is Raymond Donald Hong for Outlook Video.